Monday update. My name is Sue Roskoff. I am an ambassador here with Project Die Hard, and we are all about preventing veteran suicide. So we are here to provide hope to veterans, and there's a lot going on in the world of Project Die Hard. It may be the beginning of the year, but we are so into all the things going on. There's a lot that's happened already this year, and a lot more coming up. And we love to bring in the founder and president of Project Die Hard to give us all those updates. I want to bring him in now. Brian Gibson, how are you tonight?
Still recovering from this wonderful, blessed weekend.
I hear that. There's a lot. Oh my gosh. I know some of the things that happened, and you got a lot to cover here. So
yeah, well, let's get the nuts and bolts through first because people need to hear this one. Let's see if I can do this again.
And as you're doing that, we got two amazing guests joining us tonight as well. So hang in there, everyone. We're gonna get the update, and then have a chance to meet our guys.
All right, here it is, the praise report for the first fellowship breakfast of 2026. 43 veterans came through that breakfast.
Awesome.
Awesome, yes. But the number I'm so proud of, 8 first-time visitors.
That has been a theme this entire last year. There's been a good number of new ones every month. I love it.
Hey, veterans now know they have a place to come, fellowship, support one another, and get a free meal. The Project Die Hard cost was $409.78. Donations were $56. So we're right on par coming into 2026, just like all last year. We are $353.78 in the red. But 8 first-time veteran visitors. That's the key. Oh, guess what's this Saturday? The PDH Die Hard Drive. Look, guys, come and see what we're building. That's what I'm asking. Help get this one done, and then we will go and build more. I cannot stress this enough. God gave us the land. Why would I just say, hold on? I don't think so. Every month is going to be a little different, but here it is. 7:30 coffee fellowship time. 8:30 to 9 o'clock safety and task assignment. From 9 to 12, getting it done. Then we go to lunch. We go back to getting it done. And 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we clean up, do an after action report, and just celebrate what we got accomplished. Again, folks, this is going to be the third Saturday every month at every facility. So this weekend, Saturday morning, 1:29 a.m., my phone rang and I spent 3 hours talking a veteran down. And then, as you all know, we had the big event up in Murfreesboro with Little Mania Wrestling. If you haven't looked at our feed, you missed something. It was great.
It was a good crowd there.
Great crowd. But now we move on to the big blessing of that evening. The location, South Paw Bar and Grill, veteran owned in Murfreesboro, is hosting our mission. Right there. Project Die Hard, Operation Big Things. Look, folks, God gave his son, right? Veterans gave you your freedom. God gave Project Die Hard the land. What are you going to give to save a veteran's life? Right now, I'm just asking for leaders for this event. I need local volunteers to step up and make things happen. I think that explains it. Community and kingdom. Hey guys, we're here. We're asking. How you going to help? Southern Illinois, Western Kentucky, I'm really calling you guys out. Why? Forward Operating Base Rush is in Southern Illinois, and Fort Hope, the national headquarters, is going into Western Kentucky. So with that being said, will you help make Operation Big Things possible? Here it is in a nutshell. Complete financial request, records on request. If you don't ask, it's an automatic no. We ask all the time for you to give $22 a month. There's our EIN number. You can look us up all the time. Finally, look, we got them. Inspire World. Buy our merch. Support our Club 22 members. Support our community support members. And they will do more for the mission. That's the update.
It's a lot to unpack in there.
I go as fast as I can.
I know. So I do have to ask though, Operation Big Things. What's the flavor of what that's going to look like?
The flavor of that is we have this huge room. My intent is to bring all of our community support program members together, local ministries, veteran resources, put them all in that room on May 23rd and promote that out. Oh, wait. That kicks off our annual fundraiser, Phil, the Can Challenge. And I believe somewhere in the team, somebody wanted to do a telethon, right?
I heard something about that.
Well, we now have a date. We now have a venue. More information will be coming.
Perfect.
But the first thing we need are volunteers to take these leadership roles.
Mm-hmm.
Because since last year, my calendar's getting more and more jumbled. So I guess we need to bring in our first guest.
Excellent. I am proud, pleased, and looking forward to hearing more from this wonderful gentleman that is joining us. Plan for Change is his website, the letter number 4 change.org. Dr. Andre Walton is joining us, and he's one who can help with burnout coaching. And Dr. Andre, I'm so glad you're here. What if you can tell us a bit more about what it is that you all do, and really thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you guys for running a mission for such an incredibly worthwhile cause. I'm a social psychologist. And for those of you who don't know, we're the ones who taught the psychologists how to have a party. My passion has always been creativity, and I have developed techniques for using creative thinking, which we all had as kids. If you have a look at little kids, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, when they're trying to discover something new in their life, and you see them trying to use it to make sense of their world, for them it's like taking a piece of a jigsaw puzzle and putting it into a partly completed puzzle. I mean, they have to look at the whole picture to do that. And sometimes weird things happen, don't they? I mean, my computer mouse will suddenly, they'll decide that that's actually a cell phone, or the vegetable strainer will be an ancient warlord's battle helmet. I mean, it's wonderful to watch kids do it, and it's pure creativity. So anybody that says, well, I'm not a creative person, I have to convince them that that's not the case. And this wonderful, very broad way of looking at the world quite often gets buried amongst the stress, amongst the anxiety, amongst all the pressures that we have created in our very complex kind of world. And all those complexities are the cause of anxiety, stress, and burnout. And the wonderful thing about introducing creative thinking into the minds of people who have burnout is that it takes away that racehorse with blinders kind of thing that goes on. If you're talking to somebody that has burnout or a lot of anxiety, for instance, then they get trapped in the way of thinking that revolves around the cause of their stress and the stress itself. And that makes it very difficult for them to see the future. And without seeing the future, we really can't see hope, and we lose optimism. And all those things can be helped with creative thinking. And that is my role. I have programs called Banish Burnout, and they have the common thread that I look at 3 aspects of people's lives. I have a look at relationships. A lot of people with burnout and anxiety push away those very people who could actually help them. They'd rather hide in a corner and just try and work it out themselves. And that often has very negative results. So the second R is in terms of responsibilities. Sometimes we take on too much in the way of responsibilities. And just because we're not sort of leaders of a corporation, we're not trained necessarily to delegate. But sometimes just in our lives, we take on too many responsibilities. And the third thing is recreation. That's the other thing that tends to disappear when people have burnout. You ask somebody, what do you do for fun? And they'll give you a whole list of things that they used to do. And they've all disappeared. The burnout has become smothered all those fun aspects of their life. So those are the 3 things that I focus on bringing back into people's lives to help them overcome those issues.
That's amazing. That's I think both of us are listening to this and like, oh yeah. I'm relating to what you're saying. I totally get that. That's huge.
Now, folks, do you see why I bring this guests like this onto our podcast? I'm not gonna lie, we're in talks. We want to help Dr. Andre here reach every veteran in the world with his programs. Why? Because they're good programs. Mm-hmm. And it will benefit my brothers and sisters. That's the whole thing about working together. Back to you, Sue.
Well, so tell us a little bit more about where are you located, first of all?
I'm actually in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas in Reno.
Oh, very nice. It's a little warmer by you than by me. Maybe
I'm
not
not
a ton.
sure that it's much warmer. I mean, I'm waking up to significant amounts of snow on the ground,
Ooh.
and sometimes with people, I say to my friends in Europe, Nevada, and they all imagine Las Vegas, and oh, it's all sunny, and I say, no, actually, it was 10 degrees below freezing here this morning. Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Okay, so you got me beat by a little bit, and Brian won't be visiting you probably where you're located there, at least not in the winter time. He avoids
What we
that.
do have here, we have sun. That's the great thing. It can be
Yeah.
very cold, but that sun is shining through the windows.
That helps a lot, actually. So,
It does.
what you're doing then, because really you can help people anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're located in the end. You are able to connect
Yeah.
with people wherever they are, and can be that help. And I'm a person that loves stories. Can you give us any kind of example of somebody that's been able to benefit from what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I before I launched these programs, I did a beta test, and I had a dozen people who I worked with, just to fine tune, the pace of the programs and so on and so forth. And they although the stories, of course, were unique to each person, they had these common threads, and that's really how I developed the 3 R's. That and the common kind of things that they had to go through. Well, Andre, it's been literally months since I slept well, you know, and all these kinds of things. So one particular gentleman, one of the early beta test members, I was talking to him. I kept pretty good track of how they felt they were progressing. And after 4 weeks, which is 1 month into a 3 month program, I was looking at his well-being profile. I gave everybody a questionnaire which assessed their well-being as they were going through the program, and it was really quite astounding. So I called him up and I talked to him about it, and he said, Andre, I've been in therapy for 18 months trying to get myself back on track again. And I've done more in a month with you than in that 18 months. And that's all to do with the introduction of this creative thinking process. It's a unique way of looking at this problem. And it's actually based on neuroscience. You and your your listeners may be familiar with fMRI imaging, where you can actually see exciting little patterns light up in somebody's head as they're thinking different things. And creative thinking is a very different set of neural pathways than regular thinking. And it happens to be the same neural pathways as emotional intelligence. And also those pathways light up more if you're happier. So happiness, creativity, it's a three-way whammy. But it was so spectacular to see this guy who was on the verge of divorce when I first talked to him, which was a couple of months before he was part of the program, because he'd pushed his wife away, he pushed his colleagues away. His family didn't really want to have anything to do with him anymore, and that just turned around. And it was just such an incredible experience. That was the thing that said, I've got to give everything I've got to that program, because this is a valuable thing that we need to spread the word about, and I need to get to as many people as I can.
Excellent. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. So, if somebody is interested in diving in and working with you? Can you give us an idea of what does that look like? How do they start? What is the path you take them down?
Well, the first session is but there are actually 3 programs, but the most severe burnout requires two meetings a week. One's an hour, one's a half an hour. But basically, and the next one down is just one a week. But whichever it is, within the first two sessions, I've mapped out individual programs for those 3 R's. So, in terms of relationships, we look at which relationships are we talking about here. In terms of recreation, it's a definite pattern. It is it's a concrete process of saying, okay, well, you used to play pickleball, you used to play tennis, whatever it is, and we're now going to come to an agreement where you're going to start doing that again. And I'm going to be your accountability partner. I can't, unfortunately, be your tennis partner. You're too far away. But I'm going to be your accountability partner, and we're going to go through that. And similarly, with responsibilities, we'll have a look at those and let's see which of these is really causing you the most stress, and let's see if we'll find ways that other people might be able to take some of that burden. So that happens within the first two sessions. This all goes pretty quickly because they've given me quite a lot of information in the various forms that they've filled in electronically, in the early stages of the process. And anyway, it's pretty quick for me. People seem to be able to trust me and talk to me fairly swiftly. And so we get a lot covered in the first couple of sessions, and they'll then have the bones of a really, three really important ways in which their lives are going to improve.
Well, first on that is your accent. British accent always relaxes people. I don't know why. But this is, have you dealt with any veterans in your program?
Actually, I have. Yes, and this particular gentleman, I have to make it clear that this program is not tested on, and I wouldn't be qualified to be treating people with, for instance, PTSD.
Brother, I look at it this way. The more veterans realize that there's no such thing as one therapy.
No,
there's
indeed,
no such thing as a once all fix all.
No.
Okay, that's the whole thing of our facilities, is to bring all these things together. And hey, oh, that didn't work for you? Well, come over here. Let's talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely. But the process that I go through, though, is going to make people happier, and it's going to have a series of benefits no matter what they've got. Even just in living, these things have a positive impact.
You're happier, which means you have hope. Mission accomplished.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
So, well, I want to ask if people want to find out more directly from you. I know we'll be working to get your logo and everything on the website on Project Die Hard, but where would people find you if they want to reach out tonight and find out more?
Well, the easy way is to go for the website that you mentioned earlier, PLAN 4CHANGE.org. And they will be able to send an email through that site. They'll also be able to push a button, and there we go. You've got to book a call there, and that will. You press that button, you'll get to my calendar, and you can book a call with me. So, and then elsewhere on the site there's a place where you can actually send an email. So, be very happy to hear from anybody that feels I could be of any use to them, or a friend, or a relative, or anybody else. Because burnout and a lot of other anxiety-related issues, are really escalating in this country to a frightening degree. And so, anything that we can do to stem that, whether for veterans or any other anybody else, I'm all for doing that.
Sue, you know the drill.
Yes, sir. You're good. So we will continue the conversation here. Brian, if he gets a call, a text, he gets something coming in from a veteran, that's his priority. And somebody just reached out, so he is going to take care of them. If he can make it back in, he will. Otherwise, we'll catch him up afterwards here with what we're all doing. But he's on a mission, and it's all about helping our veterans, and that's why you're here. We actually have others in the wings that are going to be joining us in a moment as well, and that's why we're all here. We want to make a difference and help our veterans, because there's some that are out there that are they're struggling and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They're not sure what the right next step is. And from what I'm hearing with what you do, I think that's going to hit home with some. I don't know what there's going to be a piece of the population here that's going to hear this and will hear what you're doing and be like, oh yeah, let's go there. Let's go this direction. Maybe this will be the thing. And
absolutely.
I love that. I actually haven't heard about taking that thought of creativity and bringing that into the mix. That makes so much sense to me, but it's never really crossed my mind that way. So I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you. It is a totally unique concept. It's just born of my passion for creativity. I was, born of creative parents, and when I was 7, my mother was institutionalized. And creative people often they have a higher chance of having mental issues, and that's often because they have unusual factors in their lives that cause them to be misfits, basically, into the societal pattern. So I've seen the good side of creativity. I invented things in my 20s. That caused me to become an entrepreneur, but I've also seen this slightly dark side, and so that has always been with me. And then when I started to develop these things, my research started nearly 2 decades ago, actually over 2 decades ago, and so it sort of came together really, and I suddenly realized the incredible power of creative thinking. It's often trivialized as something we do, when we've got a bit of spare time, or that Aunt Dottie does when she retires from teaching and buys herself a paint box, or the notion. You look at it a little deeper and you realize that creativity is actually the source of our social evolution, and that's a staggeringly powerful thing when you look at from the Alexas and from the internet and the jet engine and all this kind of stuff. That doesn't come from the fact that we've got opposable thumbs. It comes from creativity. It's what our predecessors had when they decided to tie a bit of flint onto a stick and make an arrow out of it. This is all comes from this creative process. And so once you really realize what power there is in this process, then you start to think, well, what can I do with it? And that's really how all this evolved.
Wow, excellent. I love it. Yeah, we wouldn't have all the things we have around us if somebody wasn't creatively thinking about how can I do this better. That's how inventions happen, and so there's that aspect of it, and then just the pure pleasure in creating something, whatever that is. Yeah. Even our daughter got even adults can do adult coloring books. There's beauty that can come from that you don't even necessarily have to be the creative one who created the outline of what it is. You can just color it in and create something gorgeous in the end.
Absolutely. It's all around us. I mean, we can go into our backyard and start gardening. That can be incredibly creative. There's creativity absolutely everywhere if you look for it, and people can be creative in so many different ways, from writing to even just thinking. You can think things that are unusual and innovative, and that in itself is a creative process.
Excellent. Well, I know I would love to bring in our other guests here to join our conversation. A very interesting gentleman that I just met. Let's see, 2 days ago. We had ironically, the person that introduced, here, I'm going to go ahead and bring Jim on screen with us, Jim Bannon. We were introduced and connected by John Kennedy, who also deals with brain. Oh, let's see. What is the right way to word this? I'm trying to think of his website. It's I'm gonna blank on it now. I'm having a moment. Help me out, Jim.
Combat brain training.
Brain training.
Neuroplasticity. And he's a genius.
Yeah, he's been a guest with us on. We do a World of Ability podcast on Saturdays, and he's been John Kennedy's been joining us there the last, I don't know, since early fall at some point, and he told Jim about us and joined us last Saturday, and has been we can just been getting to know each other these last couple of days, and knew that this was a good fit. So Jim, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, and why Project Die Hard piqued your interest here?
Well, I'm going to be 76 in a couple days, Dr. Andre, and I fit the description of your psychoanalysis. I fall in the category of a misfit. I have 7 PhDs on my board, and I don't have a master's degree, and for some crazy reason, they follow me. Now, to give you an idea, you talked on a flint on a stick as an arrow. Hell, I'd use it to start a fire and fry a hamburger. Also, you talked about your 3 R's, and you left out what's going to make it a victory. If at the end of the month, you bring in 3 Oakland Raiders cheerleaders and you say, you get to pick one of these as your mentor instead of me, your accountability partner, I guarantee your results are going to go right through the roof. And finally, I did not ask you what school you went to, nor your class rank, nor your GPA. Mine was 2.1. But you know, the guy who was the lowest in your graduating class, the absolute bottom of the class, when he graduated, what did they call him?
They still called him Doctor.
Bingo, they called him Doctor.
They call that piled higher and deeper for some reason or other. I can't quite figure it out.
No, I honestly enjoyed you. I have a whole page of notes.
Now, excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I actually have a burnout client that's expecting me to be talking to them any minute now. So I'm going to have to leave you guys to have your conversation. But what a very wonderful experience it's been to talk to you both. Thank you very much.
I will close with an experience and a goal. My experience is I attempted suicide twice. My goal, and here's your homework assignment. I love assigning homework to PhDs. I want you to go to YouTube, get your pen out, go to YouTube, and look up BE, the one, ONE. Be the one national commander. Now, I'm not offering to the whole audience. This is just to you. If you get through that video without crying, I will buy you and your better half $100 dinner, because I've never paid off on that bet. My goal.
I will go visit and have a look. Absolutely.
My goal is, before I go on the other side of the green grass, I want to become communication director for that program and all 7.5 million members. I am the newest member of American Legion. So that's why I'm here. God bless you. Thank you for sharing. And 20 years.
Thank you.
You're really, you're using that college degree the way it was designed. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Nice to talk to you both.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Andre, and looking forward to possibly having you back on again, and we'll definitely be in touch. Thank you very, very much.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good night, Andre.
And you.
And I know Kurt's going to be hopping in and joining us here shortly as well. But so tell us a bit more about your background and what was it that you heard about Project Die Hard that sparked your interest that you wanted to hop on board here with us?
Vet suicide.
Yeah.
Do you know that we lost more vets to suicide than every single war after World War II, including Vietnam?
Yeah, it's a
And
stunning statistic.
We're supposed to be the best country on earth? Not. And we can eliminate it. We can eliminate it. We can make it not one. And the other thing I'm passionate about, because I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, is that 1 in 6 of us guys are going to die with prostate cancer. It's 98% curable with a simple blood test. Yet last Thanksgiving, 28,000 men were not at the Thanksgiving Day table. That's a crime. Now, my surgeon is the guy credited with inventing the PSA blood test. He did not, but he popularized it. And I have been volunteering since I was, 12. And I got a phone call one day, and a guy says, "Hey, Jim, Zed Randall, I'm voice of it." And I said, whoa, slow down, you New Yorkers. Who the hell are you? He said, "I'm Ed Randall. I am the voice of Major League Baseball on Sirius XM radio in New York." I said, "Oh, you're the obnoxious Howard Stern's roommate." He goes, "Yeah. And I'm your new mentor angel." Well, once he said those 2 words, I knew. So on Father's Day, we put on 167 events across all the major and I want volunteers who want to throw out the first pitch, because they can bring 20 of their closest friends and relatives. It's got to be on Father's Day. And don't throw it in the dirt. And it doesn't have to be a guy. It could be a girl. But you will be the honored guest of the team. The whole team wears baby blue wristbands. The umpires wear baby blue armbands. The team signs a baby blue bat. It's your job to raffle it off. And after you throw out the first pitch, and Ed sends the PSA for the Jumbotron, and he will air freight the trifold brochures that you hand out to your home. And after you throw the first pitch, you are the honored guest of the team. That will be a day you'll never forget. So please think of fans for FOR, thecure.org. And let's save vets. Let's save men. And you women have got to be stuck with us. As stubborn, as bad as we are, you got to get over it.
Well, and actually, I am seeing that Kurt is joining us here. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on in to join the conversation, except it says my name down there yet. He's not a boy named Sue. Well, we'll fix that here. But
your name is my name too. Isn't there a song about that?
Something like that. And I know we had Dr. Karen in the background here briefly as well. I did not get her in yet, and I didn't realize that she had probably a timeline here, so we'll have to catch her and get her back on another time. But yeah, Kurt, come on in.
Wait, Dr. Karen. Who's Dr. Karen?
Karen Willens.
Oh, Karen. Oh,
yeah.
She was Karen Willens. Okay,
yeah, she was in the background. She came in after we started, and right at the top of the hour, she popped back off. So my apologies to her that we did not get her on screen here yet, but we will definitely make that happen. So, but Kurt, I'm going to pass over to you just for some updates and what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Well, with the shakedown, boy, I think it's National Girl Kiss a Boy Day or something like that. Is that one of the?
Oh, let me sign up.
I was Kiss a Ginger Day. That's what it was
Kiss
today.
the Ginger. That's what it was. And I saw a graphic of that going on. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, Kiss the Ginger Day. So Jim, you got your assignment now.
It's also National Clean Your Desk Day, National Gluten Free Day. Let's see, National Curried Chicken and National Hot Tea Day. And it's also Stick to Your Resolutions Day, your New Year's resolution. Ooh, last one I'll mention here, Work Harder Day. That's
there you go, Jim. Work harder, can you please?
No, I listen to John Kennedy. He tells me not to work hard, to work smarter. And I
work
said,
smarter.
it's worth every dollar I pay you.
There we go. So yeah, I mean, in terms of an update with my day, I mean, I was on with Ken Krell, who does the Daily Hug program, and he's doing a campaign to spread joy around the world. He's working with Barry Shore, our ambassador of joy.
Excellent.
Got him caught up to Edwin, our chief happiness officer, with the Happy Neighborhood Project. Got him introduced to Mariana Waikiki with actsofkindnessseries.com. And so, we're just making people's heads spin. So here we go. Save a Veteran Day.
That should be every day is Save a Veteran Day.
Yeah,
every day. We need to be working hard to, what was it? Hashtag check your vet. I'll throw that out there. Sorry to interrupt. But since that was popped in, check your vet. That's a thing. Like literally reach out, give a call, send a text, knock on their door. Who's a friend of yours that you haven't talked to lately? Check in on them. See how they're doing. It's worth the time to do that. Go ahead.
That's a good point, Stu.
Check your vets. Is it UR or YOUR?
Check your vet. Let me pop that on the screen here. YOUR.
Yeah, check your vet.
Okay, I will spread that.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, so but Save a Veteran Day, Sue. Let's add that into our shakedown program, that it's every day is Check Your Vet Day and Save a Veteran Day. We can make that commentary every day now. Starting with tomorrow's shakedown, we do it at 12 Central, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Jim, if you want to join our shakedown program, Sue does an On Your Mark program, and then we're also on Zoom with our Zoomers. We got our shakedown social, so it's a 45-minute facilitated daily activity that Sue does, and it's all part of the package here at Project Die Hard. We're bringing in every way, shape, and form we can, because we've got to get in all the ingredients here and have everybody working in harmony, because the world has never solved this issue. The increasing rate. So it's not just increasing numbers, it's the rate of increases increasing. So you got to, listen to your calculus professor in college to follow what's happening with this worldwide epidemic. And, we got to look at, what are we going to do to use that gray matter in here and use our hands to dial the phone to, get folks on the phone. Hey, veteran, how you doing today? Anything you want to tell me? Listen to a vet, get that phone on. It's got this little piece here. It's called an earpiece. Get that thing activated and, listen to a veteran. That's the challenge from Project Die Hard, is the voice of a veteran coming through that ear hole. I had somebody say that they graduated today, because that was actually Ken Krell. He's like, folks normally call me, the bottom side, and I was talking about my tinnitus, and he's going to get my ear burning because he's going to be talking about me apparently this week, and so the way I related it to the ear hole instead of the other end, he thought I helped him graduate today. So there you go.
Now, Ken, have you been at the gym working out?
Have I been in the gym working out?
Yeah.
I do Sue's shakedown program.
Well, because I saw you on camera and you picked up that 1,000-pound telephone like it was nothing. It's amazing. God, you're strong. That phone weighs 1,000 pounds. Nobody picks it up. You picked it up like you were. Yeah, look at that. Wow.
It's a great exercise program. Exercising, do it. Check your vet. I love that.
You make a good point, Jim. That's a real deal.
Well,
That and
that's
now,
why I had the lawyer in my face, because 1.5 million members, not one of them, not one, picked up the telephone. Not one.
you're right.
It makes
all
a
of us
difference.
here, all of us here, Project Die Hard, we're singing to the same sheet of music that, there's something going on, so, well, there's a point we make here. Brian brought it up. He's like, well, in person is better.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
yeah, if you want to go knock on a door or go out, hang out at the VFW or whatever, and go face to face, take it on face to face. Let's save the
Well,
veterans.
love doesn't do very well over a telephone. But you know
Right.
what does? Caring. And that's all it takes.
Right.
And that nails it right there. It takes caring. Do you care enough to open your mouth and reach out and do what? I mean, we're here, right? I show up here every Monday night. Why? Really? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? I wouldn't do this
how
if I
many
didn't care.
people called me on a telephone when I was considering, not just considering, planning and implementing suicide? How many people called me? 0. Now, one time I was going to close my business, and I'll give him credit. He's from Twitter, and he called me on the phone, and that kept my business alive. Just one person reaching out and caring. And then I was ready to close it again, and the guy who turned down Trudeau to be chairman of the FCC, his name is Walt. I was done. 15 years, 64 days, I was done. And he called me on a telephone. My God.
That makes a massive difference, doesn't it? Somebody reaches out. And how simple is that? It used to be nothing. I think the whole idea of making that phone call used to be a much less. Sorry, I don't know what's going on up there. Dogs imploding. Speaking of reaching out, even dogs can do that, right? They let you know they love you. So it can be of all. Sorry, that threw me off. But
And
whether you
Sue,
text,
I
whether you call,
don't know what we're afraid of. Are we afraid of being a Dutch uncle? Give me a break. That's what we are.
yeah,
We pick up that telephone, we call somebody. That's what a Dutch uncle does.
I have not heard that phrase, so I'm learning new phrases here. But yeah, really, I know.
The other side of it is just look it on our website, projectdiehard.org, how we got Brian's story, and he's alluding to this friend that called him.
Mhm.
Now imagine being that friend. That was the guy that called Brian Gibson, got him to answer the phone, and intervened in this battle with the demons, and is a success story. So that's the other side we have to look at. We can look at how heavy the phone is, all the problems behind it, make it sound like like we're really beating people up for not doing it. There's the other side. When you do it, the rewarding part of your life that you hold on to forever, that's part of your legacy, when you become the person that saved the life of a veteran. Now let's look at that side of it. The wonderful part of being a part of this.
You know why they won't pick up a telephone? Because it's all about them. It's their ego, their comfort, and boy, did I learn that lesson in Lions Club. There was this lady who spoke to our convention in 1925. You might have heard her name. It was Helen Keller. Now, I hear a lot of people in today's market complaining. How the heck can you complain about anything? Have you ever heard Helen Keller complain? Never. So what gives you the right?
Yeah, I
And she
think
chatted us. She wanted us to take care of youth, eyesight, and diabetes. Now, I don't qualify for the first one anymore. I used to. And eyesight, we give away free vouchers for people who can't afford glasses. I did
mhm.
that for a lion out of Kenya. And we go to the schools and we do eyesight testing and we recycle glasses. And just to be fully qualified, I almost died in the Sholo hospital a little less than a year ago. I walked in the front door with diabetic acid ketosis, and my number was 880, and they told me I won the lottery. It's supposed to be like blood pressure between 80 and 100. 880. The fifth day of ICU, the nurse said to me, I can't believe we're having this conversation and you're not intubated.
Wow.
So that's what Helen Keller asked us to do. And that's what all gonna be 1.5 million lions, that's what they do. Diabetes, eyesight, and they never complain. Their hashtag is kindness matters and
Mm.
hashtag we serve. How selfish is that? So if you want to complain, get out of yourself. Get out of the home. Go help somebody.
And I think people realize or can realize how good we have it when you go out and help somebody, volunteer somewhere. I know over the years, Kurt and I have always been in a mindset of let's go volunteer, let's go. They need people to help with something, let's go. We can do that. It actually really makes my head spin a bit when I think about the number of people around where we live here and how little involvement many have. They like to just do their thing. They've got their home, they've got their little set of things that they do, and they aren't necessarily considering it's like there's an opportunity to volunteer and make a difference somewhere, and they look at it as, well, that's for somebody else to do. Why? I don't know. It's like if I see a need, I'm looking at how do we fill that need? And that's not a frame of reference a lot of people can relate to, and I hope that that's something that people can think about. And that's one of those things, like, you actually have to have that thought at some point, like, oh yeah, I guess I could make a difference, really. Anyone can. You just have to make that decision. What are you intending to do? Do you want to make a difference with your life? Do you want to help others? Do you want to do something meaningful? We all
Well,
got to decide that.
it's our Savior's fault, regardless of who you call that Savior. Okay, or as AA says, the spiritual choice that you choose. But he gave us one rule, and that's the golden rule. How difficult is that? I didn't have to be a PhD psychologist like Dr. Andre. All I had to do is listen. The golden rule: treat people like you want to be treated. What is so stinking difficult that 343 million Americans can't get their arm around it?
It's pretty simple. I love that. That's perfect, because really, if you were struggling, you'd want somebody to reach out to you, right?
You
When
think?
that makes all the difference. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Kurt's sharing his screen. Go ahead, Kurt. I know that face.
Yes. Yeah, so this guy gets the credit for me having a chance to get the offer from Brian, for being an ambassador here a few years back, because, Brian hung with this guy, Edwin, our chief happiness officer, and it's through somebody else we're networking with running a Facebook Live and invited me to be on her Facebook Live. I was going away just I showed up to let her interview me. We're talking away. And then all of a sudden I understand there's another guy, waiting to be interviewed. I had no idea. I was so, who is this guy? Well, Brian, he's with Project Die Hard, and he's helping save the lives of veterans from suicide. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm sitting here jawing away. Let's get this guy on here. And then now being an ambassador for over a couple of years here, now all of a sudden, we're talking about, share, volunteer, you know, donate, be a patron, and pray, and all the things. So if you look at this program, your 30 tips for happiness, it's something you can put on your calendar, to go through this cycle month in and month out. It's got 30 days worth, on the taking. And what does Edwin have here at the top of the list? Smile and laugh at yourself, of course. Day 3 is be of service to others. And day 4 is donate according to your pocket, type of thing. So I just wanted to point that out, that there's a lot of consistency in what we're experiencing and proposing. There's a lot of validation and verification, that we're just not up here in this podcast blowing smoke, blowing hot air, and just kind of making stuff up. We're gathering everything needed to do a better job at filling the gap between us and the veterans, and between veterans, between themselves, that peer support between veterans. We're looking at this 360 degrees, so that we're exploring every single thing that comes in front of us, because nobody on the planet, with the hundreds of billions of people that have ever been on this planet, nobody has ever solved this issue of veteran suicide. So this is the test. Can we really get that veteran suicide just plummeting down? And until we see that, until we experience that as humankind, to your point, Jim, I mean, it's not just USA. It's our US vets are all around the world. And there's veterans with other countries and so forth. Mm-hmm. And, it's the same thing all around the world. So this is a human test, and everybody out there can be a part of it. And so we got a couple of viewers. One of them, might be Brian, who knows, but another viewer out there. We got viewers out there. The other one might be Emily. I mean, who knows? But Emily's restreaming it, out to, more audience of ours. So we're using every piece that we get mustered here, in our reaches. Our leadership team meets once a week, and we're in constant communication all week long, every week.
What we're missing is what Doctor just told us. We need some happiness and some joy and some cheerfulness. So, Sue, let's change the agenda. For the next 12 minutes, let's just abuse Kurt, make fun of him, get the audience laughing. I mean, we just need to pump up that adrenaline and joy, and we just need to do that, because I'm streaming it on Facebook and YouTube, and I got to get a professional account on Instagram so I can do that. These people want to see us pick on you, Kurt. You're just too much of you're the white angel. You're the star. So Sue knows all of your bad sides. So what drives you up a wall, Sue, that you want to commit suicide because of him?
Whoa, nothing. But I gotta say, though, we only have about 2 minutes left here in what our time is, and we do always end our program with each of us going around and actually saying a word of hope for our veterans. So, as much as you got some ideas there, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. But truly, just to take a moment and let's each provide something that's a word of hope for our veterans. And actually, Kurt, I'm going to go ahead and send it your way first, and then Jim, I'll send it to you next. Kurt, go ahead.
So I'm going to come right into this with power of suggestion, and the self-fulfilling prophecy. So when, you're in the struggle, you're fighting the demon, and, Josh has been in here talking about, that the demon is just joshing you, it's the lies, it's false evidence appearing real, and all that stuff is there. Again, the way I was talking earlier about looking at the other side, the bright side, which is tough. When you're in that dark place, when you're bottomed out or you're below bottom, it's like you just never thought it could get any worse. And there you are. And that's why we're, in this business of hope, because in any success, no matter what person on the planet we're talking about, the folks who talk about success talk about the imagination, the dream, and so forth. And again, all these things, like, oh my goodness, when you're in the dark place, when it looks as dark as behind Sue there, it's like, what are you talking about, Kurt? But the idea is, what you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. So if you can conceive that next thing, doesn't have to be ginormous, a big deal. It can maybe seem a little lame to you or whatever it may be, but just have something to go after. Like Brian, he was looking forward to go to that church event. That's what got him, through some days, because he promised a friend to be at the event. You know, that's the message that I've been collecting. Because again, I can't relate. You know, I've never been in that dark of a place. Depression, anxiety, a lot of these other, lighter versions to get maybe a little hint of the direction of it. But what you all and Brian have gone through, or what you're talking about, Jim, and so forth, I've never been through it that tough. But, being human and realizing that you're out there experiencing that, I've been looking into it, trying to figure out as a volunteer. I offer my help. I offer my phone line. Give me a call, 262-372-1754. Shoot me a text, whatever it is. Shoot me an email, Kurt, Kurt, at projectdiehard.org. And, you know, let's start with that asset inside of you, that glimmer of hope, that thing in your belly, that thing in your heart, that thing you wish, like, look at us like a Make-A-Wish Foundation. Let us know your wish, what you want to do. I was talking to people today that we're going to be meeting next week. There are more things we're going to be revealing once our new partners, people who are learning about Project Iron, and what we're doing for you, they're going to be here in a couple weeks when we put this all together. So stay tuned. There's more coming for you. Back to you, Sue. Thank you. That's how we do. Yahoo! Go ahead and make fun of me. Okay.
So, Jim, I'm going to pass. Oh, go ahead.
So I think you ought to keep them.
I think that's a good idea. So, and Jim Bannon, thank you so much for joining us as well. I'll pass it to you for a word of hope for our veterans as well.
All right. I give out homework assignments because I have 22 members of my board of directors, and I was shocked when we had our formation meeting. They all are different. They're a bunch of weirdos, but they all run world-class companies. But the one uniform thing was education. Every single person placed education as number one. So I'm going to assign a homework assignment to the audience, especially those out there on Facebook and YouTube. Go to Facebook and up in that magnifying glass search bar, just type in hashtag, that's a number sign, 41. That was my April 1st baby. Hashtag 41 Angel. And you'll see Lindsay. They did a special TV filming of her when she was dying. It's been seen by 30,000 people around the world. And she died with no fear. None. And God bless you, Sean Johnson, the number one pastor of the number one fastest growing church in America. He left his son in the ICU room to go out on that stage 10 feet from me and do her memorial. Oh, God bless you, honey. That's my girl. And she, on her last breath, said, Daddy, I want you to pay it forward with random acts of kindness. And Sue and Kurt, today's the day I tried.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. That's gave me goosebumps, and that takes something there. appreciate your kindness, and I hope you know that you're making a difference. So for all of us here with Project Die Hard, as I always say, you're here for a reason. God's not done with you yet. Find out what's next and what's in store, because it's more than you can possibly imagine right now. So thank you for all you do. Again, for all of us here with Project Die Hard.